Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for The Walking Dead Comics issue 173, and it was entitled Final Fight. Sorry the review's up a day later than usual. I already had 2 videos made yesterday, and I just wasn't really feeling like making the third one, even though I did want to talk about this. It was just a lot to throw that on top of other stuff I had done. But either way, let's jump straight into discussing it, because I thought it was unexpected and great, and you could see in my live reaction my emotional journey that I took here from at the very beginning, being just so certain that this issue would be trouble, so certain that Beta was just going to come in and that Aaron and or Jesus were going to die and or be captured, or something bad was going to happen just generally. And then going from that to just this complete surprise that Beta was so easily killed. The next big bad, kind of ish, was just killed like that. After all the things we had seen with the character and everyone trying to fight against him, to die like that, I thought it was great, and I haven't seen anybody to disagree yet. Everybody I've seen has kind of shared the same opinion as me, with it being realistic, it just being like, oh yeah, well, sometimes, even if you're a big bad guy, sometimes you just get shot and that's it. That's realistic. And I think it was great too, because it was a surprise, because I wasn't expecting it. Though I've not seen anybody argue the other hand, I can also see that too, where if you could say, okay, it was out of nowhere and realistic in kind of a bad way, when it seems like maybe a waste of character, maybe it should have been just something bigger, more dramatic, because you do need to balance the storytelling between realistic and being something that is really entertaining. I think it was good this way, but I can also see where if somebody was arguing the other way, I could see where they're coming from too. It's like, I disagree because I think it's better the way it is, but I do agree with the reasoning that would be behind seeing it that other way. So some other stuff that happens from the beginning, yeah, I was scared for Jesus and Aaron. Jesus versus Beta, they fight each other a bit while Aaron is holding off the walkers. And then I actually think it's really cool the way, as Aaron is shooting Beta and killing him to save Jesus, Jesus also shoots the walkers while he was fighting Beta. I thought that was really good, because I don't know, it's an interesting way to set things up where you have one fighting one opponent, one fighting another opponent, but they cross over and kill each other's opponents. I just think that's a pretty good setup, short-term storytelling and all that. Then we have Beta get unmasked, and he was just a celebrity basketball player. Simple as that. And again, I think it being as simple and reasonable as that is good, but I can understand if you argue another way that it should have been something more drawn out, more dramatic, more connected to the main story of things. But you know what? I think it's fine not being that. Not everything has to be so over the top and interconnected, because it kind of loses a little bit of realism that way, so I think it's fine the way it is. Could it be good the other way around if everything was super connected and important? Yeah, I think it would still be good. I think if Beta was built up as even more of a big bad guy by killing Jesus or Aaron at the beginning of this, I think if when we did get a reveal, if he was something important, either of those things, it's good the way it is, but I think it could have been done well the other way as well. One thing I did think was a little bit cheesy, and I'm not the biggest fan of, is after they're already like, oh yeah, he isn't breathing, and they unmask him and they're talking about who he was, he jumps up and he's like, I don't have a name, and then flops back down. That was pretty dramatic. I think maybe that should have been handled with a little bit more, sort of on a lower level, do the same thing where they're like, oh, what was his name again? And just have him, even though they said he had already stopped breathing, just sort of mutter, I have no name, or something like that, where it's like, he's so badass that even though they thought he was dead and stopped breathing, he was still able to say something. Having him jump up and get all dramatic and then have like a flop back to the ground, though, was a little bit heavy on the cheesy side of things. They also bring up how the Zombocalypse treated him pretty weirdly. Just in general, he was rich, he had all these cars, all the money, this nice fancy house, and yet zombie apocalypse hits and he's out there running around dressed in other people's skin talking about how he doesn't have a name. So yeah, apocalypse hit him pretty hard. So yeah, he was just a celebrity basketball player. Back at the hilltop, Dante tries to talk to Maggie. She's still not over Negan just getting to live on his own. And she actually tells Dante to wait and stay there instead of telling him to leave, which I think is indicative of either one of two things, and I think either one will be good for future storytelling. She's either going to try to set up some sort of attack or assassination on Negan. I actually don't think she'll do that, but I'm not sure. We have to have some sort of closure there between Maggie and Negan that we haven't gotten yet. Maybe she's just going to arrange a meeting. Maybe she's going to talk it out with him, even be civil. And even though he did all that to her, she's going to have to learn to move past it and to live her own life and to take care of her kids. That, or I could see it going in a direction where maybe Dante consoles her and helps her work her way through all this, and it's actually there to set up the romance between Maggie and Dante. So then, one thing I do not like, Lydia looking jealous because of Sophia. No one wants this. Please, Kirkman, just do not do this. Nobody wants it. Like I said, at the beginning, where I was so shocked that Beta didn't kill them, this would be the most predictable thing ever. This is what everybody thought was going to happen between them. It didn't happen, and we thought we could just get, Lydia's the girlfriend, Sophia's the best friend, and it's gonna work out perfectly fine. We don't have to have a lame freaking love triangle stupid subplot. Nobody wants that. It's the dumbest, most overused is a hell of an insignificant word to describe how overused it is. It's all over everywhere, where the girlfriend gets bitter and jealous of the female best friend, and that ends up driving the boyfriend away to the female best friend because of the jealousy. If Kirkman goes through with that, damn, that is just way too, just way too overdone, way too predictable. That better not be what's going down here. Then we have this family that was trying to join up with the Whisperers. It was like a dad, and it looks like, what was his name? I have it written down. Mike was his name, and he has a son. And I think the woman, she looks pretty young, but I think that she's actually the wife because she calls him Mike instead of dad. So I think it's just a mother, father, and son family that were trying to join up with the Whisperers. And then Jesus rolls in and just kills all the remaining Whisperers. So we have this new family. Hopefully we can trust them coming into the communities. And I guess they're going to tell them about the communities on their way back to the hilltop. Anything else there? No, that was it with that scene. We have Rick leaving Andrea's grave, and it's at night, telling her good night and leaving. So presumably he's not sleeping at the graveyard anymore, which is good. Then we have a great set of dialogue from Laura where she pretty much tells Dwight, get over yourself. You weren't happy under Negan. You're not happy here with Rick. When are you just going to be happy? Stop moping about the woman who kept screwing you over, and maybe I'll still be interested. So I love that. Just telling Dwight, Rick is working through some things. He's not too old to lead anymore, even though I think Dwight kind of has a point. Rick has done some kind of sketchy, crazy stuff. So I don't think he's maybe too old to lead anymore, but he definitely needs more help from others at this point. Which is why we need Dwight to get over himself and be that help. But yeah, I loved Laura just telling him get over himself and get over Sherry, the bitch who just screwed him over at every turn. So yeah, then the very end we have Michonne with her group getting held at gunpoint by whatever this new community is going to be like. So Stephanie may be a bit of a catfish. It'd be hilarious if Stephanie was just a guy or something. It'd be great. Stephen. But yeah, Eugene may have been catfished all the way from Ohio. And one thing I loved was when again, Princess's lines, Kirkman said in the Letter Hacks, I think it was, that everybody's going to be loving Princess and she's going to be everyone's favorite character soon enough. But I've already said how much I enjoy the character. One line of dialogue I loved, though, was when they're walking through the place, and when she addresses Michonne, she just calls her Sword Lady, and then a little bit later, like, the next line of dialogue she has is, I'm not good with names. I love that she just calls Michonne Sword Lady. So yeah, issue as a whole, thought it was really great. I thought it was, an unexpected shock. I was not expecting Beta to be taken out so easily, but I thought it was good. It gave me a good emotional journey through the chapter, and I thought it was realistic. I'm totally happy with it, and the explanation of who he is, totally happy with it. So we have some new characters that were thrown in there. We're going to be getting new communities as well. The Whisperers may be gone for good, but there was always that hint that Alpha and Beta, their group wasn't the only group out there. So there could always be more Whisperers that we don't know about yet. But at least for now, it seems like the Whisperers may be gone, the ones we know of. R.I.P. Beta. I liked the character. I thought he was a really good antagonist, and I guess he had his run. I also like how it came full circle, where when we were first introduced to Beta, it was either the first issue or two that we were introduced to him is when he stabbed Aaron through the stomach, and me and a lot of others were like, oh my god, are they killing Aaron off? So it's come full circle to Aaron being the one to kill him. So yeah, I actually think that's cool that they didn't give the kill of the big bad guy to Rick or anything. They just gave it to Aaron out here randomly in the wilderness. Also, I think it's cool that Beta still has no name. They described who he was, and they're like, oh yeah, that guy, but we still don't have a name for him, so Beta will get to live on in his legacy nameless. So yeah, that would be it. I thought it was great, so I'm going to give it 9.5 Sword Ladies out of 10. And I think from next issue, from what they said at the end of the letter hacks, and from the cover that we already have the art for, next issue is probably going to be about Negan, it seems. I don't know if it's going to be only Negan, or if we're going to see other stuff too, but it's at least going to be heavily about Negan. So yeah, that's it, I guess. 9.5 out of 10. I enjoyed it a whole hell of a lot. Like, if you didn't like the video, comment down there to tell me what you thought of this month's issue, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more of The Walking Dead, both TV show and comics. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated and stuff for the channel. If you want a link to our Discord server, just ask and I'll give you one. That's it. Thank you once again for watching, and I'll see you all next time.